Leonie Dawson refuses to be categorized the podcast, and I am on a rampage, catching you up on all my thoughts and things. Today I want to have a chat about my thoughts on kids and phones. I want to be clear here. I don't give a fuck how you parent. And if you choose to make other choices than me, that's cool. That's great. I have no clue about you and your kids and your specific life setup. All I'm going to be doing is talking about me and my family and my life choices, and just share my thoughts on them. And if they resonate with you, yay. And if they don't resonate with you, also yay. So, as part of my 21-day challenge to go without social media, I talked about this in a podcast two episodes ago. So, 71, 72, 72, let's go 72. Fucking who knows. Anyway, you can also go to leoniedawson.com/21-day log to read all my diary and all that shit. Anyway, because I'm going without social media, I've been reading a whole hunk of books about the negative effects on phone use and social media use and all that sort of stuff. So some great books to start with that I would recommend is How to Break Up with Your Phone by Catherine Price and Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. I've definitely become wildly obsessed with the subject, as I tend to do with new interests. Hello, autism. So I've been having long daily conversations with my husband. I tell him all about the research and the neuroscience behind social media and phones and the very real damage that they're having to our brains. And we keep on coming back to the same place we often do in these conversations, is that we are glad for the parenting choices that we've made and continue to make, especially around tech. So some of the choices that we've made is that we've chosen alternative schooling options that currently don't utilize laptops or iPads. My kids are still in primary school, but I know increasingly so many schools, iPads are part and parcel of learning, and we have chosen schooling options that don't go with that method. They are still learning in amazing ways, and they're very, very happy. And we're really proud of how they are developing and growing and learning and who they are as humans. And we don't feel like they are educationally behind whatsoever. In fact, we actually think they're educationally ahead because of those choices. Also, when our country moved into quarantine, schooling and classes were moved online. We opted out of it and we elected to homeschool eclectically instead, because we knew that hours in front of a screen every day was going to create really disengaged and unhappy learners, and also drive us insane as parents as well. Now, I do want to say here, I know that I am ridiculously privileged in order to even be able to have alternative schooling choices, to be able to make these kinds of options. But for me, education and the ethics I have around my kids is one of my highest values in life. And so I've made a lot of changes to my life, and to how we structure things and to how we spend our money as well, in order to make these reflect our values. And I will not share either what particular schooling option we have chosen for our kids. We have homeschooled and in the past, and I've talked quite a bit about that, but just for privacy and security and all that kind of stuff, I don't talk about what school they are currently in. Okay, what else? We also have strict parenting controls and access time to iPads and computers at home. It's not that we don't allow our kids to have screen time, but social media specifically is very dangerous, and also that infinite scroll and limitless time is not helpful. We don't feel. We also don't allow them to have any social media account. Devices are not allowed in bedrooms at night time unless they want to listen to an audiobook on their iPad and they know not to play with it, or we will remove it. So it's purely there as an a book device. Otherwise, it gets pulled. And we also just maintain a strict no phone policy for our kids. If at a point in time they need one for like safety reasons or transport or whatever, we will purchase one of those dumb phones that allows for calls to restricted numbers instead, but no other features. Like, here's the thing, my kids still aren't teenagers yet. One's a tween. However, they already know that our family rules is that they only will be able to purchase their own phone when they're 18. And until then, any access to devices will be heavily restricted and monitored. They won't have their own phone because they're not an adult yet. And the research continues to back up the heavily negative effects of phones and social media. It is bad enough for adults. So here's a quote from How to Break Up with Your Phone by Catherine Price. While research on these devices is in its early stages, unsurprising given that they've barely been around for 10 years, what is known so far suggests that spending extended time on them has the power to change both the structure and the function of our brains, including our abilities to form new memories, think deeply, focus, and absorb and remember what we read. Multiple studies have associated the heavy use of smartphones, especially when used for social media, with negative effects on neuroticism, self-esteem, impulsivity, empathy, self-identity, and self-image, as well as with sleep problems, anxiety, stress, and depression. And that's on like fully formed human adult brains where we have already developed an identity and already developed most of our brains. Yes, we have neuroplasticity, or we can still change, but kids are even more at risk because their brains are still developing. Those negative ramifications are intensified on young brains. They have not developed fully, and as souls as well, they have not yet had the time or the space to discover themselves and develop their own identity and their own confidence. Research continues to show again and again how detrimental it is to children's mental health, self-esteem, and suicide rates. I really like how the author Glennon Doyle once answered a question about how to respect a teenager's privacy with their phone whilst also protecting their safety. And this is her paraphrased response, like this is how I remember it, so she probably said something slightly different or completely different to this, but whatever. Her response was basically, my teenagers do not have phones. If they're using a phone, they are using my phone because I pay for it with my money. And I get to see every single thing that happens on my phone. Every message sent, every photo taken. They don't get to have privacy on a phone. And that seems like a hardline approach, but here's the thing. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and other Silicon Valley tech leaders refuse to allow their kids access to devices because they know how harmful they are. Another quote from How to Break Up with Your Phone, the fact that so many tech executives limit their own kids' exposure suggests that they don't think the benefits always outweigh the risk, to the point where they feel the need to protect their families from the devices that they create. Look, I don't care if we're hard as parents on this front. I got the gift of growing up without social media. I got the gift of being able to form my own identity, connect with my own soul, fall wildly in love with nature, and develop a relationship with myself that is outside of how others experience me. And that kind of childhood is something that I wish for my children. And I know that social media has been difficult even for me mentally, and getting sober from it has had huge life-changing benefits. And that's even when I have a fully developed adult brain, a really ridiculously high self-esteem, and I've got a good understanding of who I am. So if it has that effect on me, what hope do our kids have? I will be a mama bear, and I will protect their young spirits even if they don't like it. Even when it seems out of step with what others are doing, even when others don't understand. We really can only make the decisions that feel true and right and good for us. All right, my loves, I am sending you so much love. And if you say to me, yeah, but, my kids are already using it, like I can't take it away from them now. Yeah, if they're a kid, you actually do get to change the rules. You do actually get to change the name of the game here. Until they're an adult, You get to parent and help them make better choices for themselves so they can continue to bloom like the beautiful wildflowers they are, just as you do the same for you as well. All right, I am sending you so much love and compassion, and you've got this, and I am like fist pumping you the whole way, and I want to high five you for being the phenomenal, incredible creatures you are. Let's go make some magic happen, hey?